I never played top-down strategy games because I feel too stupid to try them. But when I saw Infection-Free Zone, I was quite curious what the hype was all about. A zombie survival base building Google Earth game it's quite unique. To my surprise, the dev team, Yutsu Games, gave me a key of the alpha version of the game and they told me that I could just show it off. So yeah. Just keep these three things in mind when I show you my 100 days in Infection-Free Zone. 1, this was an alpha build of like 2 weeks before launch. 2, I really do suck at strategy games. And 3, I played on the recommended location, which is Crofton in America. Day 1, I give my squad multiple jobs in a queue so they can scavenge from multiple buildings. And the squad right now does their job correctly. Keep that in mind. Day 2, the citizens of my base go to work and I get the first comms from my squad that they found a booby trap. I tell them to inspect it, and after that, I don't hear nothing ever again about that event ever. That is sure not gonna happen again, right? Then I get comms about smoke coming from a building, so I investigate it and I find immigrants that I recruit. Something like that never went wrong ever in the history of the world, right? I'm not a political guy. I'm sorry. It's a joke. I don't know anything about geopolitics and all that kind of stuff. I just keep talking about video games. Then I had my first encounter with a bug report screen, which tells me that the game should not be continued, but I choose to ignore it. What's the worst that can happen, right? Then it was followed by the first horde that raided us, which we beat. Day 3, a squad found a car, a sedan to be exact. This matters because this is like the cheapest car you can get with the lowest inventory, just saying. I built my first research center that can generate research points, which we use to unlock new buildings and recipes for production and all that kind of stuff. Day 4, we got more and more people coming in, so we need more houses, and houses means we need more loot and food and all that kind of shit. So then I also need to get more warehouses, so you can see that the management and the whole expanding of the base has been starting. I put my first 3 farm fields down. Another horde of zombies attacked us, which was quite big. That's what she said, but we had 3 towers, so the defense was quite high. Easy peasy. We got them. On day 8, we got a big horde attacking us, and you might notice that I'm skipping through a couple of days. Those are days that I'm just grinding and doing nothing really eventful. It's still fun, but, yeah, not really eventful. So I'll only show you the actual eventful stuff. All right? Okay, give me a kiss now. Come here. Mwah. That's a good boy. It's a good boy. Anyway, in the meantime, a squad was being chased down by a group of zombies. Luckily, the sun came up, so those zombies pussied out and went into the building. I was asked to build an antenna so we can invite survivors to our base and unlock a button that will call all the squads back to your headquarters in 1 click or something. So, yeah, I just built an antenna. On day 10, I discovered through sheer logic that farming in the winter is absolutely useless. So I decided to take the farmers out and let them work elsewhere, which I thought it was quite a 5-head move. While I'm recording this very fucking voice line, I'm kind of thinking like, yeah, of course, you dumbass. Of course, farming in the winter without a greenhouse. Like, how dumb can you be? Okay, just leave me alone, all right? This is my first time playing. Okay, can we just move on? A squad was being chased down by 3 hordes of zombies, but after a comedically long sprint, they did finally make it to safety at the headquarters, but this was a fair warning to myself from the game to not fuck around with squads without cars. On day 11, I sent a squad out to the out-of-bounds region to scavenge for research points to unlock the next building as soon as possible so I can grow my base as fast as I can. At the time, I thought being a grower is better than being a shower. I'm sorry. This is just, it doesn't even make sense, fuck it. I'll just keep it in. That's what she said. On day 12, I send another squad to the out-of-bounds region for research points, but they got ambushed by 18 zombies, which they somehow beat. On day 13, while 2 squads were out-of-bounds scavenging, the base got raided, so I made a new squad to defend the base, which was successful. On day 14, Squad 3 had some good loot from their run, but they didn't take the research points with them. I just wish there was a feature to select what you want to bring with you, because they found 1 research point, but they left it behind. So now I gotta pray to the RNG gods that the squad will pick it up in the 2nd run instead of their 3rd run. You know what I mean? So now they have to just go up and down and you know what I mean, right? It's quite technical, but you're a gamer. You get it, right? Fuck it. Whatever. Out of all things that could have happened, this one squad goes back to my beloved research point and they get attacked. And they get their car broken down and I didn't know how to handle myself. What the fuck is going on? Don't fucking die on me. Oh my god. What just happened? Okay, you guys just go back home. On day 15, I got a distress call on my comms from some chief operator, which I denied. Then my captain told me that he found the location of the call. I'm calling this guy my captain now. He's the captain now. He represents like the squad. So whenever a squad finds something, even if it's a squad full of women, it's him that has to mansplain to me what they found. On day 16, the captain found the distress call location where he found an abandoned headquarters, but he talks about solar panels and suggests we should use them, but the game never lets me use solar panels after that ever again. So I guess this is some type of early access blue balling going on. Whatever, dude. The other squad found a group of hikers and asked me if we should accept them in the base, but the game never shows you how many there are. But screw it, I just accepted them, because I'm a kind-hearted capitalistic Dutch man that needs more slaves to build his empire, but this time I don't need to sail across the ocean to get it done. On day 17, I decided to build some walls around the headquarters and a couple of surrounding buildings. I thought it was quite smart. Then again, very, very logical to do. I mean, it's part of it's like the bread and butter of the game. Why am I feeling like this is so smart? Whatever, dude, all right? The walls weren't even halfway done, and the zombies already came to my base to ruin everything I already did, but fuck it, I managed. On day 18, I had 2 squads running away for their life because there were like 50 zombies running after them during the day, and that's when I learned that if it storms outside, zombies are just outside. I got comms from a distress call, which I personally didn't care about, but my captain told me that we should investigate, so I sent a squad of 2 dudes to the location, which was out of bounds again. As I looked at them nearing the location, there were 19 zombies waiting for their arrival. Knowing they would not win that fight, I instantly let them retreat, but the game gave me a good old fuck you and killed them anyway, which I'm still butthurt about that, all right? Because I know mechanically that in this game, zombies cannot outrun cars, so what the fuck? On day 19, I felt scammed because this group of 4 that was scavenging this one spot out of bounds, which took like 4 straight days, found nothing, not a single thing. You could argue that there's literally just 4 buildings, but come on, man, at least give me something. Give me like wood or just like one thing, dude, a can of food or something. I don't know. A full squad got in an ambush with 17 zombies, but they somehow got them. They won. Can we get a hip hip hooray for the strong independent women of Crofton? Get a hip hip hooray. Then the American army demanded that we give them resources, to which I said no, but then they said this.
You don't seem to understand the situation, but we'll make you understand. Over and out.
That was kind of scary, so now we had to give them the resources anyway. On day 20, I encountered my first spooky bug where I got an achievement for defeating the military, but I did nothing to defeat anyone, so that's kind of weird. Hopefully there aren't going to be more spooky bugs like this one later on in my playthrough, right? Right? Then later in the same day, they arrive with a fucking tank and a truck and demand that I give them resources. I thought I just defeated these guys from the military. That's what the achievement just told me, but it seems that I got scammed. I was ready to go to war against the army, man, but then I realized that I'm basically managing a homeless shelter and these guys have a tank. So I gave them all the resources and then they went away. By the way, the base now has 3 research facilities, which I consider a cheese. I can be 3 times as fast during the day to produce research points and lower the cooldown for unlocking upgrades. The thing with this game is that your citizens only level up in squad experience, but not in other jobs. So you can give anyone any job at any time, but I'll get more in depth about that later. Later that day, I got attacked by a big horde, which looked a lot like a group of 50 Romanian schoolboys with Andrew Tate by their side going all Braveheart, trying to break out a Tate brother or something out of prison. I don't know, okay? Is this far-fetched? The thing is that there's this alpha million horde that boosts the powers of the zombies, so you can just kind of kill him first to prevent all the boosts, right? Honestly, for a day 20 raid, I found this to be a little too tough because I'm playing on easy. But it also made me feel like I had a big pee-pee, and I finally understand how to play this game now because I actually survived it, but whatever. On day 22, the military dude was all cute to me, saying he appreciates my help with the resources and offered me some bullshit information in return. This must be how countries feel doing business with the U.S. military. Esther on the realism on this one. Right after that call, he immediately forces me to help him with his dying squad with a sleepover at my hospital, which will cost me resources. Again, this motherfucker. So 4 wounded soldiers arrive at the camp for the sleepover. What can possibly go wrong? On day 23, a pack of zombie dogs attacks the base, but we make dog meat out of them. That's so cheesy. I'm so sorry, man. The new Fallout series is actually pretty good, though. I do recommend it. Okay, moving on. Timu Joker calls me up to say some gibberish, which I skip through.
Hello. Rise and shine. Very funny, very funny. You almost had me. You know, I really appreciate our little talks.
Honestly, I hate to say this, but this is one of those spam comms you get in this game that breaks your gameplay flow, where you have to listen to some childish voice acting that belongs in some kind of Cocomelon episode. With all due respect, but a game like this is going to be played by adults, you know? I feel like this poor man's Joker is a better fit for the Pajama Sam universe. It's fucked up, I know, but come on, man, okay? Moving on. On day 24, I get comms from the base that the soldiers are all healed up and returning to the military base. But they're taking recruits from my base with them? Some nasty business practice if you ask me, but boy, does that feel American. On day 25, a squad found chickens in a building, which unlocked a barn which I can now build in my base. So I built a barn in the base that will totally work exactly as intended, right? Right. On day 26, a squad found some dead raiders in a building, so we took their assault rifles and called it a day. I love these types of story events, man. I'd love to see more of these events. On day 27, the military now thanks us for the assistance we offered, which was already a couple days ago, but whatever. I'm sure that bug won't happen again. Right. On day 28, a squad was held hostage by the bad guys. The bad guys demanded that we deliver 4 crates of food to them by an unarmed team. But as the unarmed rescue squad arrived, they drove over the bad guys, which somehow freed the squad that was being held hostage, which resulted in a full-blown shootout. This game is a surprise to me, but considering the shit has already hit the fan, I backed up the car and drove over the bad guys again. And that was that. Somehow none of my homies died. Some of them had to go to the med bay, but yeah, this is definitely the way the game is supposed to be played, and totally not a point in my playthrough that will cause a massive bug which causes the story mode to glitch out and the whole game to crash multiple times while the game is stuck on this one hostage event. Right? Oddly specific, but am I right? Later that day, I had an encounter that reminds me of the Chegg Highway because I found some people at the side of the road telling me that they're willing to do anything for a couple of bucks and a beer. So I did what I always do in situations like these. I brought them back to my basement. Base. I meant to say base. Yeah. Later that day, I got comms from the bad guys telling me that they still got my dudes. That must have been a pre-recorded message, or could it be a bug? I'm not sure if it's obviously a bug, guys. Okay. Let's cut the shit. On day 29, I got frustrated with the game's logic when it comes to the seasons. It's August and it's 0 degrees. This is highly annoying because the farmers are then useless because they have a 90% debuff on efficiency for the crops. And there's no way to remove the farmers in the winter season automatically, so you gotta do it all manually. And the seasons are not consistent at all, which forces you to either be an ultra-efficient manager that micromanages the shit out of every single fart that happens in your base, or you just forget about it and have a group of farmers that are totally useless. Later on, I was myth-busting whether you can actually drive over people consistently or whether it was a bug. Turns out, driving over people is an actual mechanic of the game. I like that. Later on, some dude over the comms says that the infection is in a decline and wants to meet me in some neutral place. I immediately send a squad of 2 newbies and gave the squad the same name that most AAA studios call their dev teams. Disposable. Day 30. Turns out that the neutral meeting spot was a total scam and full of zombies. Who would have thought? The squad retreated safely though, which is good because cars are very rare in this game. On day 31, I decided to build the second half of the defenses in my base. On day 32, I discovered a fun fact. I got a squad on the brink of death in the medbay, but when a horde passes them in the shot radius, they still shot it. I can just imagine them in scrubs laying on hospital beds firing AKs out the window. Now that I think of it, that's probably how my mom gave birth to my older brother. brother back in Croatia. A squad in a pickup truck was being chased down by a pack of dogs, so I let them drive over them a couple times to save ammo. Works like a charm. Later that day, I felt like the Swedish government because there was a group of immigrants at my doorstep and I let them in without any hesitation. Again, I don't know anything about geopolitics. Yeah, so moving on. A random truck appeared on the map and became abandoned. On day 33, I sent a squad to the truck to investigate. They found a horde of zombies that they eliminated with my favorite strategy. Guys, if it looks stupid but it works, then it's not stupid, okay? Moving on. There were some dead soldiers laying next to the truck with AKs up for grabs. We looted the whole thing and stole the truck. In the meantime, the base got raided and the zombies tried to destroy some buildings, but let me show you a little trick. You can aggro zombies with a squad and kite them back to the watchtowers, which have way more firepower and actually have higher defense. So that shit always works. Now back to the truck. It was in very bad shape and low on fuel, so I had to share the fuel from the other car that I brought with me, which is a fucking hassle to do, and it felt like I was playing Kerbal Space Program and Escape from Tarkov at the same time like a retired NASA engineer. It sucks. This was very annoying to manage, but at least it's possible, so that's cool, I guess, okay? So just saying. But it could use some work, you know? Like simply have a button that says split fuel or some shit like that. Come on. All right. I sent both cars back to the base, but the truck was in very bad shape, so it went very, very, very slow. With my small sedan, I picked up some more fuel from the base and then went back to the truck and give it more fuel so it could arrive at the base by itself. On day 34, I drove over 2 raiders. That's notable, I guess. It's fun. All right, leave me alone. I finished my research in making shotguns, and I added 3 more farm fields to the base. I loaded up the game the next, real-life day, and noticed that this building was put on pause for de-adaptation. That's wrong. And long story short, it's permanently bugged because in this alpha build, de-adaptations are simply bugged. So I hope that they fix this with the early access being already, released and stuff. But yeah, this sucked. The squad died by a horde of 17 zombies while out of bounds in a car, which I found to be such bullshit that I scum-saved. And then I realized that the zombie patterns are random, because now they didn't get attacked like before, so that's quite interesting. On day 35, that same squad got attacked anyway, but now by a horde of 7 zombies. They won the battle, but not the war, because the car broke down. And to my knowledge, there is no way to fix a car with squad members, so that's just permanently lost. Sad. On day 36, the base got raided by a large horde, which I held off through 4 squads in the headquarters, but by sunshine, the remaining half of the horde hid in the surrounding buildings. On day 37, like a degenerate XQC viewer, I ordered a SWAT team to SWAT the buildings with great success. All the zombies are dead now. On day 38, I drove a pickup truck over a horde of zombies. On day 39, I drove a sedan over a horde of zombies. That night, the base got raided again, and I thought I could drive my pickup truck over the alpha male, but his Sigma powers are really off the charts, and he just stomped my whole squad. So, yeah, I scum-saved. On the second try, we successfully beat the raid with my whole squad intact. So that's good. That's very good. Whoo, day 40. All right, this was the day that my depression on the game really hit hard. I thought I was the loser here for not setting things up the right way, but it turns out that I did a pretty good job. But the game is sadly just very, very bugged. This is going to get technical, but please follow along. Notice how I have 12 raw meat in my whole entire headquarters inventory. Now, 5 pots of soup can be made with 1 wood and 3 raw meat. So I should be definitely able to make the soup here, right? But the cookhouse was holding 2 raw meat instead of 3 and refused to add the 1 other raw meat to activate the cooldown. Then I manually ordered the cookhouse to make another recipe that didn't include raw meat, and then I ordered the raw meat again, and now it added it the right amount into it and started to work on the soups. What the fuck? This is a crucial part of the game. I placed 6 farms in my base, and I'm making enough fertilizer to boost the grain harvest, which then goes into the barn, which produces raw meat and another fertilizer to help the fields and make soup. But what the fuck, man? Sadly, this is all for nothing. It's not gonna get any worse than this, right? Right? This is right. By the way, snow in July. I'm just saying. This is, yeah. Later on, we found a fallout shelter, like a prepper shelter. There was a bunch of loot in there. Again, I love these events in the game, positive or negative, but these like real loot or real losses and the hostage thing, I love those events. Those are actually really fun. They're part of the gameplay, you know? They're not going to break the flow of the gameplay like I said before. These are the actual good ones. I love these. Oh yeah, remember how I showed you how the squad queue worked properly? Yeah, well now it's bugged. It cannot process more than 5 jobs in the queue. Here I gave a squad like 15 buildings to clear out, but they idle after they have done the first building. That's just sad. At this point in the video, it's more about how I survive 100 days of bugs instead of 100 days of zombies. On day 43, I decided to pull all my squads on a scavenge duty to find canned foods, considering the farms are stun-locked. On day 44, I found this silly method for killing off zombies that hide in buildings during the day. You simply mark the buildings for demolition, the zombies then run away from the building and get burned in the sun. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. A bug that works in my favor? Yes, please. Day 45. I got raided by wolves, but it was an easy win. I sent 4 squads to scavenge the whole neighborhood, which feels great to do. Now hear me out, I got a couple ideas. I would love to see a feature where I can mark the buildings to be scouted, which would let the squads to scavenge the buildings, but leave the loot behind. And then another feature to mark the buildings to be looted entirely. Or even a feature to highlight a couple of buildings for squads to only loot one specific item, like ammo, for instance. Just imagine you have 2 squads doing the scouting of a whole neighborhood, then you have 1 squad with a truck that loots the scouted buildings for only ammo. That sounds like a good idea to me, man. I do have good ideas sometimes. I do. Yeah, I do. If only I had a serious job. On day 46, I tried doing that manually. While one neighborhood was being scouted, another neighborhood that already was scouted is being looted by a squad with a truck. This, my fellow epic gamers, was epic, and it made me feel like I was actually smart. It's really sad that this is all that it takes for me to feel like an intellectual, but hey, it is what it is. Later that day, I discovered another nasty bug. This shotgun was ordered to be made like 10 days ago, but nothing happened. It cost 1 wood and 5 metal. But in the inventory of the arms factory, there's 1 wood and only 4 metal. Now hear this shit. I had a squad pick up 1 piece of metal and put it in their inventory, then go over to the arms factory and drop it in the inventory of the arms factory, and then it actually started to make the shotgun. Now, I'm just suggesting something, but if the game is such a broken mess, then at least make it playable where players don't have to manually put it in. Just teleport it. The bugs won't get worse, right? 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 Later that same day, I got another game-breaking bug through this management system. This tab right here lets you manage how many citizens do a specific job. So when I changed the amount of scavengers, I got a bug report. This happened every time that I changed the amount of workers in the scavenger department, but I'm sure that the bugs won't get any worse, right? On day 49, I found out that the chemical plant got the same bug like the arms factory and the cookhouse, where it's not taking enough resources from the headquarters. And when I tried to report the bug system was bugged. But yeah, the bugs won't get any worse, right? God damn it. On day 50, aside from the nasty bugs, I felt like I was on top of it. You know, I could finish this stupid fucking video. My truck squad was actually doing their job by looting the scouted buildings and bringing the loot to the headquarters and going back to the scouted building, only to bug out and sit idle in the building. God damn it. Guys, at this point, it's clear as day. The game is like my dad when I was 8 years old, because it's constantly beating me up even though I did everything that I was told to do. On day 51, while I was micromanaging my squad like a regional manager at the Lidl does to his 14-year-old employees, my base was being raided, but we survived it as usual. Day 52, another horde of zombies raids my base. I beat them, but there are some zombies left over, which hide in abandoned buildings, which I mark for destruction, so they get forced out of it and slowly grill them to death in the sun. It's kind of what Dutch people do whenever there's a sliver of sun outside, but instead of instantly dying, they develop permanent skin damage and increase their chances of skin cancer. Who wrote this? This joke is oddly specific and could do a lot better, just like the game, so I'll just keep it in. This is... Who actually wrote this? And that's what she said? What? What do you mean? Let me redo this one. This is oddly specific and could do a lot better, just like this game, so I'll just keep it in, and that's what she said. Oh! I get it. Okay, that was pretty good. Now that I researched and developed the fortified walls and the fortified towers, I decided to wrap my headquarters with it. At this point, the inventory of the headquarters is mega bugged, with fuel and grain glitching out at light speed. Slowly losing my fucking marbles here, fellas. But I promise we will hit the 100 days. On day 53, I get spammed by the bug report screen, which honestly stunlocks me into not being able to play the game at all. But just like my stepsister, it seems to fake being stuck, because after ignoring it for a while, it just goes back to normal. On day 56, a huge horde of zombies raided my base, but once again, we won the battle. On day 59, a giga horde of zombies raided the base. They got through the fortified walls and started to actually beat my headquarters, but we beat them in time. At this point, the hordes are actually starting to make a dent, so it's kind of worrying. On day 62, another giga mega horde of zombies raids my base. But halfway through the raid, the sun came up and they retreated to hide in the surrounding buildings. This must be how Germans felt back in the... Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Nope, not doing it. Not doing it, no. Who wrote this shit? I'm not gonna read everything from the fucking script. Are you crazy? These are do you call this jokes? Anyway, I did the zombies in the buildings dirty with my demolition move. Works like a charm. On day 64, an army of zombies raided my base. Although I got my squad equipped with AKs and sniper rifles, the guards in the tower still had tiny Glocks. At this point, these hordes are getting real big. I think this size is about the biggest that I can handle, but it will do some damage to me. That's what she... No, that's too easy. Here's a real funny thing that happened, though. As they raided my base and attacked the headquarters, I was wondering if I can repair the headquarters while it's under attack. And it turns out you can. It feels like you can just repair, and it's like stun locked for damage points. It just doesn't receive any damage points. But up until it's like 100%, and then it takes damage again. This is a bug in the favor of the player. I love this. More of this, boys. Give me more of that. On day 65, I got bug reports spammed and eventually simply got kicked out of the game. It really did happen. On day 67, yet another horde of zombies raided my base, which I beat, but it was followed up by a horde of bug reports, which have beaten me to a point of kicking me out of the game again. On day 68, while I was still recovering from last night's raid, I got another raid happening to me, which I won again. Day 69. There's something poetic about this specific day because I got fucked by the game with bug report spams again. On day 70, I got raided again, and I beat it again. But now my base had zero food because the farms are hard stuck with some bugs which prevent any form of harvesting, so I just can't make food at all. The bugs have beaten me, so there's only one other way to survive till 100 days. I asked the Discord if there are any cheats, and to my great relief, there are cheats. There are cheats! I set out to play fair and only cheat on the things that are bugged, so I added 99 cans of food to my inventory. On day 71, I added 500 cans of food to my inventory. And I made a warehouse out of this bugged building with a single mouse click. And I added 100 fuel to my inventory. 2 hordes of zombies came to raid us, but we beat them again. On day 72, I got spammed by bug reports. At this point, I kind of understand with the cheats and all, but yeah, it kicked me out again. When I loaded back in, I noticed that the game made neutral buildings out of the ones that I changed with cheats. So I just changed them back to warehouses and actual houses, for which I got comms that rewarded me with compliments that I take good care of my citizens. I couldn't agree more. I'm a very forgiving and kind God, especially for those citizens that support me on Patreon. We survived another raid from a gigantic horde of zombies. On day 75, another giga horde came to raid my base. At this point, I can't look away from the base for a second or it will get raided. But even though they outnumbered us, we still beat them, but my chances of reaching day 100 are getting slimmer and slimmer. I did try to build my base up, but after getting 1 million bug reports per minute, this was really my breaking point. Day 100. I did it. I've set the day to 100. Now I can finally jump off a bridge. Even though I went through so many bugs and I sounded like a really grumpy old man, I'll give Infection Free Zone a solid A tier as an early access game, meaning you will have to deal with some bullshit bugs. That's quite simply what you've signed up for if you buy an early access game. For what the game is trying to be and trying to accomplish, I think it really does deserve a solid A tier. The bugs feel more like technical mistakes rather than design mistakes. The dev team does have some awesome ideas, but it just needs a lot of technical, mechanical engineering or some other shit that I don't understand. Game development always has this quantum physics type bullshit going on where you fix one bug and then you create 10 other bugs. Fucking horrible, and I envy game devs like you two games, man. But if you expect a finished game and you want me to rate it as a finished game, then I'll give it a borderline F tier, man. If you're planning to wind down and enjoy yourself playing a good old game, you're better off playing Sudoku or subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive videos. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. Mwah.